Welcome to the Royal P Show. I'm your host, Royal P, where I believe health is a new goal, water is life, and God is above all. I emphasize the importance of mental, physical, and spiritual well-being. What up, what up, what up, what up? This is your boy, Royal P from the Royal P Show. Thank you for joining me this hour. We're going to have another beautiful session. I have my longtime friend, business partner, out here with me today, and we're going to be talking about pretty much interviewing him and see his perspective on life and life purpose and everything else. So he's gonna dive into that in a minute. So thank you once again for joining. But before I bring him up, we're gonna say a little prayer, and then we're gonna jump right into it. It's just it's a very strong thing to talk about. It's been overdue, but I'm glad we're doing it today. We can see the inside of a different person's perspective as a man, and see how he's gonna tell you about himself. I'm not gonna say any further than that, and then we're gonna go into that. All right. So welcome to the Royal Peace Show. The goal is to make it feel real. We're gonna be real. He's gonna speak how he feel, what he feel, and we're gonna take it from there. So hopefully, if you have anything to say, just put it in the comment section and the questions as that. And so today we're gonna be talking about balancing duty, dreams, devotion, life, marriage, and purpose. That's what we're talking about today. So welcome to the Royal P Show again, where health is a new goal, whatever is life, and God is above all. I'm your host, Royal P, and today we are diving into something every man can relate to: balancing between purpose, pressure, and peace. We live in a time where men are expected to do it all: work hard, provide, lead, stay fit, keep fit, and hold everything together. But behind the strength, there's often a story of struggles, fit, and resilience. Today I'm joined with my brother, my longtime friend, business partner, Mr. McGill, a man who wears many hats: husband, father, officer, entrepreneur, talking about what it really takes to build a meaningful life while managing it all without losing himself or ourselves in the process. So I want to welcome you, Mr. McGill. How's it going?
Oh man, pretty good, man. Thank God for everything, Um, life, family, marriage. It's great to be here. Um, like you said, we've been friends for a while now, very, very long time. We're business partners. Um, a little bit about me, just my background, law
So
enforcement.
before we go into that, 1 second.
hmm
Uh, so before we start, we begin with a little prayer. Get the tone right. Uh,
Okay.
so I'm gonna go with a Bible verse, Proverbs 16:3. Say, commit to the Lord whatever you do, and He will establish your plan. This very reminds us that no matter how many responsibilities we juggle, when we put God first, we give us order, balance, and direction. So a little prayer. Lord, we thank you for bringing us together today. Bless this conversation and every listener tune in. May this discussion inspire men and women to reflect, grow, and strengthen their faith. Give us wisdom, peace, and understanding as we speak. Let this be more than just a conversation. Let it be a seed that planted purpose and healing in Christ Jesus' name.
Amen.
So next, but before you start telling yourself, I just want to because this is pretty much about mental health too. So I just want to know how your mental
Mhm.
is, how you feel like, how your mental state then and everything before you dive into introducing yourself and what you're about.
Um, Mental status, pretty good. I have no complaints at all. As long I'm able to work out, make sure that I have a peaceful home, um, make sure that I can provide for my family. That usually put me in a good mental space. And of course, placing God before everything else. So right now, I have to say that I'm blessed. my mental status is awesome. I have no complaints at
Oh,
all.
okay, that's good. Because our mental state is pretty much have to be intact for us to do what we do each day. So no further ado, you can go ahead and tell people what you're about, and introduce yourself.
Um, McGill is my last name. I go by McGill. Everybody call me McGill. So for those who don't know me, just call me McGill. My background, man, I have a lot of experience, especially in law enforcement. Um, that's where I currently work. So I'm proud to be able to serve the community and being able to make a difference, you know. And I'm a family man, of course, God first above everything else. Married, have children, and of course, I'm from LIB. Have to represent LIB all day. You know, Liberia, man. So that's pretty much it.
All right, thank you. So today we're gonna be going a few little questions I got for you. Uh,
Okay.
that we're gonna dive in. Pretty much gonna be pretty much a conversation we're gonna have on different things. So beyond the title, the uniform, the business, and grinding, who are you at your core? Like if they say, "Who are you, McGill?" Like who you want people to see, really see that you are, because different people might say different things based on how you may act with them or how you grew
hmm
up and how they saw you. But when they look at you now, what would you tell the people that what are you from the core? What make you you?
What makes me me? What makes Miguel Miguel? It's more so of my ability to be able to evolve, right? Um, People would know me, would know that I don't give up easily. I take advantage of everything. I'm also of a some may call opportunist, right? If there's an opportunity available to me, I'm taking advantage of it. Trust me. Um, People will say I'm a family man. I definitely put God above everything. Um, they will say that down the core, my everyday life, everything I work for is to be able to leave a legacy for my children and my children, right? So generation wealth down to the core. That's what I wake up every morning, trying to build is leaving a legacy for my family. Um, Deep down, I want to get to the stage where I'm able to help people, especially back home in Liberia. I want to be able to wake up in the morning time and just go out there, whether that may be providing jobs for people, helping those who don't have, being able to provide education, any kind of training. I want to give back. So everything I do today is because I want to leave a legacy for my children. I want to build wealth, and I also want to be able to give back to my country. That's what I want people to remember me for. A family man, a man that worked hard to leave a legacy for his family, a man that want to give back to his community, to his country, a man that want to serve his people.
Hey, that's dope. That's dope. We all want that. Appreciate that. So that's powerful. Now you wear many hats. Your husband, like you said, your businessman, your
hmm
officer. So what's the biggest lesson life has taught you about balancing yourself
hmm
with your identity or who you are? Like balancing all those things with who you are, not losing yourself in those things.
Man, so just just being a police officer or having that background in law enforcement, that alone have made me to appreciate what I have at home. Because there's time where you get called for service, you go to different houses, you see so many different things on the street in people's houses, you see kids being mistreated, you see domestic violence and everything. And then once I leave that situation, I leave that scene, I get back to my vehicle, and then almost like clockwork, right? I remember, oh God, thank you, you know, that my children don't have to experience this. Thank you that my wife does not have to go through this. Thank you that I have a home, a roof over my head. I have food to feed my children, you know. So being in law enforcement had definitely made me appreciate what I have, you know. So that's pretty much what I appreciate. And also being who I am today and not changing also come from my background as being African or a Liberian, right? In the back of my head, I always know that there's a home, there's a place where I can go where everybody look just like me and nobody will ever question me. You know, so my dream and what keep me moving is knowing that I always have a home to go back to in Africa. That makes a big difference.
That's dope. That's dope. So would you say that what gets you grounded is your family?
Absolutely. Family, that's number one. God, family, that keep me humble, right? That keep me faithful. Um, that keep me waking up every morning, 16 hours, these doubles. You know, working hard. So it's all for the family, man. And my
Yeah,
wife. Yeah.
yeah. That's gonna kill you. That's a lot of hours to. That's a lot of hours. 16 hours.
Yeah, yeah. Well, you gotta go out there. You gotta work hard, man. Especially if you want to be able to build a legacy. You can't sit on your hands and pray and say that, oh, I'm gonna pray and God will provide for me. You have to pray and you also have to have faith and you need to go out there and make that happen. God will give you the strength. God had provided me with the opportunity to be able to provide for my family. He provided overtime so I can be able to bring in extra income. So I'll take advantage of that. I'm not going to sit around on my two hands and just pray and pray for God to drop some money in my lap. That's not going to happen.
I feel you on that. I feel you on that. So that let's switch it a little bit. So you're a married man, like you said,
Mhm.
and being married, that's a full-time ministry by itself, pretty much. So how long have you been married?
5 years going on six.
5 years. So you've been married for 5 years. What one thing you wish more people understood about what it really takes to make a marriage work?
Oh man, communication. Communication. For me, that's number one. Communication and also don't just communicate, right? Communicate also you have to be able to listen to your partner. Um, whether that may be good or bad, whatever they have to say, listen, take it in, and then make adjustment, right? You also need to be considerate of that person's feelings, right? How that person feel, how the way in which you behave make them feel also too. So communication is definitely number one.
Yes, communication is very important. A lot of time we communicate by talking but not understanding. So when we communicate and understand what the other person's saying and come to that common ground, I
Hmm.
think that's a big thing because right now we could be communicating and we could both be talking, but we're not understanding each other. But we say we're communicating. But if we
Hmm.
take the time to really understand, you say how you feel, I say how I feel, we kind of understand how can we come to a common ground to
Hmm.
make this work instead of me being selfish by my feelings or like I always tell people, don't let your emotion overpower your intelligence. So a lot of times we do that. A lot of times our emotion overpower until we say things that we really don't mean in the moment when we feel it instead of really try to take a step back, come back, communicate, understand, and see how you can make it work better and move forward. So that communication definitely is the
Yeah,
big key. So
absolutely.
that real talk. A lot of people only see the highlight reel, the smile, the vacation, the family photo, but not behind the scene work. So let
Hmm.
me ask you this: when things get tough in a marriage, how do you and your wife stay connected instead of drifting apart?
Man, when things get tough, my wife, she keep me humble as far as being close to God. So when things get tough, the first thing we do, we pray about it, right? We pray about it, and then once we're done. we sit and we talk about the problem. Okay, this is the situation we have right now, right? How do we tackle this? How do we make this work? How do we make sure that this does not happen again, right? So that's how we deal with it. If that might be finance, we go back to the budget, look at everything. We think that I know we try to figure out a way that we can go back and maybe pick up extra overtime, maybe cut back on spending. If it's mostly relationship wise, we sit, we talk about it, you know, and we try to figure out the best way to, you know, to um to solve that issue or that problem. So that's what we do.
That's what's up. That's what's up. So, what does love look like in a day to day when you are tired, stressed, and stretched out, and a little stretched thin? How does love look like in your marriage or in your family?
What does love look like when you're tired and stressed out? Man, if you love somebody, you love that person, you know. It don't matter if you're tired or you're stressed out, you know. Um, I gave you one example, right? So sometimes I do 16 hours, come home, I'm so tired, kids want to come up and run up on you and hug you, kiss you. You can't just shoo them away. You have to, even though you're tired, but they don't understand. That I have a 4-year old and a 2-year old, right? And a 9-year old. So they don't understand what you have to do to provide at that age. So when you come home, even though you're tired, you also have to provide time for your children also. Whether that may be not 2 minutes, but 20 minutes, 30 minutes, just sitting there watching a movie, just listening to what they have to present to you. It could be a drawing, it could be something that they went through, um, you know, during the daytime when you wasn't home, just listening to them. When I woke up in the house, I made sure I kissed my wife. I made sure I talked to her, let her know how my day was, and hopefully that might be something that she can do to help me, prepare for the next day. If I come home and I'm like, oh man, babe, I'm so tired. I ain't had time to eat my lunch. I didn't pack the lunch. I forgot, whatever that may be. Right? She'll say, okay, let me go ahead and pack you some lunch for tomorrow. So next time you don't have to go through, what you went through today. So you have to come home, talk to your family, man. Hug your kids, kiss your kids, hug your wife, talk to your wife.
So, is that like a tradition thing you do constantly, or just
I learned, man, it's not it's crazy because over time, right, and based on past relationship, you learn as you go, right? I've been in a relationship where things, didn't work out for me. So, and most of the times it's not because that person was a horrible person, because we just didn't click together, and because we didn't communicate properly, right? And because some things that I was doing that was wrong, and being young during that time period, I didn't see it. It's either my way or nothing else. So I have learned from all those mistakes in my past relationship. So now, being the man that I am today, I'm like, okay, so that didn't work. So I cannot keep on. I cannot keep doing the same thing over and over and expecting the same results. That's insane. So I learned that I need to listen to my wife, to my children. I learned that when I come home, I need to spend at least 20, 30 minutes with my children. It don't matter if I'm tired or not. I learned that when I come home, I need to show some love and affection to my wife. Whether that may be just, communication, hugging her, listening to, her day, what she had to do today, um, listening to my children also, you know, because I know that those little things matter over time, So for me, it just based upon experience. And I guess you could say my experience have now become tradition, I guess, if you want to put it that way.
got you? So by showing that is how you keep the intimacy connection alive through all your business that you got going is to show them time. Don't matter if you're busy or not or tired
Hmm.
when you come. when you come out, because you know the work can beat us. It's people don't understand when we go out there as an
Hmm.
officer what we go through, and we'll come home. Sometimes we bring that at home. Some people bring that at home, and I think talking from my experience, I brought
Hmm.
that home a few times, and that didn't go well for me. So just keeping those things that you go through outside, how important that is when you go outside to work, and everything you deal with, you see, like you said earlier, it's kind of keep you like, thank God that I have my kids and this that of different people, especially at domestic. You go to domestic, it's
Hmm.
you see different people treat different people. So how do you separate that from whatever you see outside, how you deal outside, till what goes on in the house when you walk in that door? How do you separate the two from whatever you do at work to
Hmm.
how you handle how you deal with the family, even though you went through all this racist comments outside, people didn't like you, you see different things with different family. How do you separate those things?
Man, I've been blessed to have a very strong mind, right? It takes a lot to break me or to get me angry. So, and the way I look at things is that wherever happened today, when I'm at work, whether that may be, the good guy, the bad guy, it could be, somebody being disrespectful towards me. It could be things I experienced on the job, like domestic violence or child abuse, whatever that is. God had blessed me with the skill to be able to leave all that as soon as I take the uniform off, or I take that duty belt off. I get into my car and I'm driving home. All that trouble, that drama, that frustration, that anger, I leave all that behind. When I enter my house, I'm a new man. Everything is as if nothing ever happened. And that's the gift that God had blessed me with, and I'm happy to have that. So I can easily turn it on and turn it off, just like that. So, and also these things that happen at work, it's work. That's how I look at it. I never allowed the uniform to go to my head. I never allowed a gun and badge to make me feel like, oh, I'm somebody special. I'm above the law. No, we're all people. We all have a job to do. Um, if I'm making the arrest and something, turn into a fight, argument or disrespect, whatever that may be, I deal with it, right? And then once I'm done, I get into the car on my way home. It's all done and over with. It's a whole new day for me after that. So I leave work at work to make that short. When
I
I get
got
home,
you.
it's family time. Yep.
Yeah. So what can you say to a federal officer that don't have that yet, that still take work home, and that still struggling with that, that still have to feel like for a reason they take work at home?
Hmm.
What can you tell them to say, hey, see how to separate those two? What kind of advice can you give them?
I would say if you need to talk to, first of all, start with your home, right? If you're married or you have a girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever, start at home. Talk to your family, you know. So start off small. And then that's, for example, you had situation with somebody where you felt like the person was being racist towards you, right? Or disrespectful. To talk to your family members, they might give you a different perspective, right? Maybe the way that you saw things is not how they may see it. And it might give you a different option on how to handle that situation next time, right? Talk to a therapist also too. Another big thing is that ego is the biggest thing that get a lot of officers in trouble. Ego and feeling as if you're above the law. Nobody's above the law. It's when something happened, you're in the wrong. Fix it as soon as you can, right? You don't have to apologize, but if you're in the wrong, fix it. And then also, if somebody disrespect you and you know that there's nothing you can do legally to fix that issue, let it be, right? Leave your ego at home or check your ego, and I think that will solve a lot of issues also too. But talk to your therapist, talk to your supervisors, talk to friends, talk to family,
I
and just and
got you.
learn, yeah, and learn to understand that work is work.
Facts, facts. That is absolutely is. That's what it is. Work is work, but sometimes when you have an issue at home and then you have an issue
Hmm.
at work, to
Hmm.
to really distinguish between the two is kind of a little bit hard sometimes because you're like, oh, I'm dealing with this out here, and then I'm dealing with this out here. And you said ego too, so you have to really
Hmm.
check yourself at the door when you coming in and say, listen, like you said, work is work. I'm gonna leave work at work. I'm not gonna come in here and talk about work. It's time for family. So you've been married this time. So how's the married life?
Man, it's awesome.
Is it
I've been
is it
blessed.
is it everything you thought it was gonna be?
Um, it's actually better, in my opinion. I think it's actually way better. Um, and I understand things are different, right? With everybody. It's also who you got married to, right? So you have to make sure that that person. I'll give you an example. When I first, the way I met my wife was through a friend of mine, another guy that I used to work with, right? We was roommate for a little bit, and then he moved to a different department, got married and everything. So every time he got married, bought a house and everything. Every time he would have cookouts, he would have family gathering, things like that. At that time he will invite me over. So when I go to his house, man, I see that his wife made sure he's good. She took good care of him. She made sure he have lunch every day for work. And I was like, man, I want that also. So instead of going to the bar, going to the club to find a girl, I asked him, I said, hey, I love the way your wife take care of you. So does she have a friend? And for some reason, someone told me that if she do have a friend, that friend might be as good as his wife. Because his wife makes sure that she take good care of him. So and that's how I met my wife. I wanted somebody that was gonna listen, that was gonna listen to me, and I will also be able to listen to that person. I want somebody who's more so like a mother, caring, somebody who will provide a safe space for me mentally, right? Somebody who will also make sure my home is a home also too. So when I found her and then we got married, it was awesome, man. It was awesome. I have no complaints at all. It's good.
Hey, that's what's up. It's very hard to find that person. So in your past relationship, what would you
Hmm.
say? What's the ask for your ex girlfriend? What would it say, Harris? What would it say about you?
Man, what would my ex say about me? Um, I don't know. I would say good things, man. I would say good things. I was good. I was a good dude. Um, I was never abusive. That's a good thing. It just didn't work out, in my opinion. She might have, you know, they might have something else to say about me, but in my opinion, I think I was a great guy. Um, Sometimes things just don't work out between two people. So instead of prolonging the relationship, and that can turn into something completely, different. And that's how domestic violence starts, and a whole bunch of other things. It's good to go your separate ways. So I think they had some good things to say.
Absolutely.
You know,
Okay. Okay.
yeah.
Okay. So marriage prayer remind us that marriage isn't about perfection. It's about partnership and purpose. What you say?
Yes, absolutely. I agree. It's about partnership. It's about learning from the other person. And it's about teamwork also. Very important.
Absolutely. So how's the how? how does a teamwork look like? I know a lot of people say teamwork,
Hmm.
partner, but how does that look like in your family? Because when they speak about your family, we can't speak about other people's family.
Teamwork for me and my family is that so as crazy it this may sound right. I work a bunch of overtime, a bunch of doubles, whatever, but I still help at home with laundry. I still do it. I still cook. Um, I still do all the manly stuff around the house, cutting the grass and a whole bunch of other things, right? So I also take care of my girls too. I take the hair out, I help wash the hair. That's teamwork, right? My wife also works. So I can't say, oh, she's the woman, she's supposed to, go to work, come home and cook and clean and do X, Y, and Z. I help where work is needed to be done. I go and I get it done. Same things. So if she notice that I'm working and I don't have food to pack for lunch, I don't have time to pack food for lunch. She'll pack my lunch for me. If she know that, oh, I'm working too much, maybe we got something we have a big purchase coming up, right? And I was like, man, I gotta go here and do this overtime, get this extra money to buy X, Y, and Z. She'll say, you know what, babe, let me go ahead and pick up extra overtime too, and help you out so you're not out here killing yourself, you know. Um, if I need something, like a gift, a very expensive gift, she will work and find a way to provide that for me. So, you know, she also help with the bills also too. So it's not 50-50, but I'm a man, so I would take on a lot off the burden. That's how it's supposed to be, right? You're the man, you do most of the work. That's how it is. Um, it is what it is. You gotta suck it up. As a man, it's your job to provide for your family. Go out there, make it work. But have the mindset that you also have to help at home too, also too.
Uh, Most definitely, I think it's very important to, if you are home, why not help? Like you
Yeah.
said, it's not just a one responsibility. It's everybody's responsibility. It's your house as well. It's your kids. So it's not like,
Hmm.
oh, and both of your work. So, but even being a man, still, if she was there, you still gonna do it. She's not me. That's how I see it for me.
Hmm.
So, I mean, cooking, doing this, I mean, it's just something that I guess you like to do, or we all like to do, because I
Hmm.
like to eat. I'm a fat boy, so I like to eat. So I'm definitely gonna cook. But so how I was gonna ask this right here.
Hmm.
So what do you think? Like you started doing certain things, and she's not doing that. How important that is for you to stay doing what you were doing, even though she's not doing what you think she's supposed to be doing.
All right. Repeat that question one more time. Just.
So how important is it for you to
Hmm.
keep being you? So the man
Hmm.
that you are, that you say, I cook, I clean, I help around the house, I do
Hmm.
all these things or whatever it is, and you feel like she's supposed to do certain things, but she's not doing it. How
Hmm.
important for you to keep doing those things, even
Mm.
though she doesn't do what you think she's supposed to do, or help on a part or whatever it is? Because people know a lot of people say 50-50, or a lot of people say, oh, she's supposed to do
Hmm.
this, but she's not appreciated. But
Hmm.
you being you, you started doing this, you started cooking, you started cleaning, you still working, you still doing everything around the house, making sure, like you said, take the heavy lifting. And now you
Hmm.
got people saying, "Oh, why are you doing that? Why she not doing this?" And how important for you not to listen to the outside noise in your marriage and stick true to who you are, regardless if she helped you around the house, if she do anything that you think she's supposed to do, if she didn't do it. How is it important for you to keep doing that? To
Mm.
for,
Man, that's a yeah, that's a good question. Um, yeah, man, been time where, there have been times where one person will feel like they're doing a lot of the heavy lifting, right? Um, whether that may be my wife or that might be me. Um, there have been times where I do feel like, oh man, I'm doing too much, you know, and she's not doing what she's supposed to be doing. But during that time period, because I was so caught up in what I was doing, and it felt like I'm doing everything. But after I talked to her, I realized that, oh man, she's also doing some of the heavy lifting behind, behind the doors also too. So the best way to deal with that is to communicate, right? Say, hey, I feel like, I've been doing X, Y, and Z, and you're supposed to do this, and do this, and you're not doing that. And, just give her or give him or her the opportunity to actually explain themselves and talk to you about what's going on. So communication is the best way to deal with situation like that. You know, express yourself.
Okay. Yes, absolutely, absolutely. So we're gonna shift gear a little bit. So the weight of responsibility. Life
Hmm.
as an officer. So now let's shine. So you're an officer. That's a serious responsibility, right? You're working with people who are, rebuilding, who's going through some things around it. What has that job taught you about grits, second chance, and human nature?
Um, man, Grace, that job had taught me that what I have, I'm blessed to have what I have. That's number one, right? Because being in the field of law enforcement, you're introduced to so many different things. The worst of the worst, that's what you get to see, right? And during those time period, I have realized that, man, I am blessed to have what I have at home, to appreciate life itself, right? Um, Also to give me the chance to thank God that, despite the way I grew up, that could have easily, I could have easily been that guy that's out in the street doing the wrong things, following the wrong crowd, things like that, right? But being able to, God had blessed me that I was able to guide myself and stay away from trouble to become the man that I am today. Not everybody have that strong will or that mindset to be able to shift their environment, even though they grew up in an era where it's very toxic with gangs and, violence and just everything else, being able to maneuver your way out of those situations is a blessing. Um, but yeah, so this job has definitely also humbled me too as a person, you know. Um, Being able to provide for my family also to have been a good thing also.
Gotcha. So have you ever had a moment on the job that remind you why God placed you in that position?
Oh yeah, every day, man. Every day. It's mainly because now I enjoy doing what I do for a living. It's awesome. But where I believe my skills could be very useful, right? It's more so back home in Liberia, right? And I think about this every single day. I have so many trainings, so many certifications from SWAT training to firearm defensive tactics, so many of them. And everything that I have accomplished today, I believe that God have given me the opportunity so I can be able to go back home, either to implement or to help my government or to help my people, right? To help create a safe country for my people. So it's definitely a blessing. And I know that everything I have today was more so to prepare me to be able to take this, take my knowledge, take my experience, and shift that into Liberia to help, uh, um, to help my country, right? To help the government, to help establish businesses, to help bring peace, bring safety to the nation. I believe that's my goal and that's my calling. And that's why God have blessed me with all these skills and ability to be able um to bless my people back home.
Gotcha. That's purpose in action. So God used your position to impact people who may never step in church and who may, so I would say that God bring people in your life to help you, and the
Hmm.
devil also bring people in your life to help you. It's your choice now to decide who should wish. So is it God or is it the devil? So you have to make that choice.
Hmm.
So now we're gonna go down to so how do you like being an officer? I mean, in your overall officer experience and how many years you've been an officer and how do
Hmm.
you like it? How is there anything else you'd rather done? If you were to change career right now, if you know what you know now, would you still get into law enforcement?
Absolutely. Definitely. And I would say, yeah, my regret would be that I did not join at an early age, right? That's my biggest regret. But law enforcement is definitely a rewarding career. I would advise most foreigners to go into law enforcement. It's a good way to serve your community, number one. Um, it's a good way to make a difference, right? And then also the career path, the retirement is freaking awesome. So imagine you're coming in at the age of 21 and by the age of maybe 41 or 46, depending on, depending on whether you have a 20-year retirement or 25-year retirement, right? But at the age of 21, I mean, age of 41 or 46, you can retire. Where else can you go and make that happen? And have health insurance for the rest of your life. So it's a blessing, man. I I do not see myself working in the office behind the desk. I can't do it. It's not me. It's not for me. I I'm good at taking orders. I'm good at following orders, right? I'm very good at executing my orders also too. So this is where I was supposed to be at. I have no regrets at all.
Got you. That's powerful. That's powerful. So shifting, uh, you saw also your business, hustle, and fit. So now you're a businessman on
Hmm.
top of that. So tell us about your business and what inspired you to step into entrepreneurship.
Um, man, I'd always in the back of my head, right? There's something about owning your own that make a big difference. You can work for the rest of your life until you turn 60, 65, and retire, whatever that may be, right? There's nothing powerful as being able to provide for yourself. That's number one. And to be able to provide for other people, you know. And then also, too, I believe the best way to build wealth is not to work for other people. There's nothing wrong with working for other people, but you should always have an end goal in your mind. With this work, with this pay, what's the end goal? What's my plan? What do I plan to accomplish? What do I want to build in the future, right? Your goal should always be to become your own boss one day. So I have taken that, and at a young age, I knew that I wanted to, own my own business. I wanted to be able to provide jobs for other people also too. So Liberia was more so where I believe that I can make a big difference. And because the nation is a blank canvas, right? Um, help is needed in every sector in Liberia. So I thought about it and I was like, why not, you know, take my experience that I have and take that back home. And then when I met you, well, we've been friends for a long time, but when we sat down and we talked about our business idea and how we can, help ship Liberia and how to better implement these things into Liberia. And it seems like it was a blessing and also was something that God have, put us together to accomplish together too. So, and I believe that we're definitely going to make a big difference in Liberia. So that's why I have my business right now in Liberia. And I'm hoping that as time go by, we can make a difference. And also not hoping, but I know we will make a difference. There's no if about that. Once this business launch, there would definitely be a greater outcome in the future for Liberia.
Facts, facts. Absolutely, absolutely. That's a beautiful thing. Let's go. Question. So, if the government was to offer you a job, will you take it?
Mhm. If the government, if the government of Liberia offer me a job, where would I take it? Um, it depends, right? That's a tough question. So, the only way that will work would be because I have a whole career here. I have a family, I have a house here, I have a mortgage I have to pay, right? Um, it would have to be a good deal for me to take it. Or it would have to be like a hybrid kind of thing where I'm able to go back and forth. Um, but I would say yeah. 80%, I'm 80%, 75, 80%, that would be yes. And it has to be within a sector that I believe I can make a big difference, right? Um, I'm not a politician. Um, I despise politicians. um, Only because not all of them, but majority of politicians in my belief are corrupt, right? From the core down. So same with how you have a crime for robbery, a crime for murder. I believe there should be a special crime, a special charge for corrupt politicians. I hate corruption. You know, that's the biggest virus for any nation, right? But anyway, if I was offered a job based upon the criteria of the job, I think I will take it. And then only if I believe that I can actually go into that space and make a big difference to help change people's life, right? And it has to be around safety.
Yeah, that's all. So it's pretty much if they would offer you a job based on your experience,
Hmm.
will you take it?
I will. Based upon my experience, I will. Um,
So that said, they
this,
want to make you the chief of police, or the inspector of police, or the inspector of the DA,
hmm
the immigration. One of those things as far as deal with security, or the special deal to the president. I mean, because I mean, you have a lot of certification. You have
hmm
teaching, SWAT and everything. All that stuff is pretty much needed. Or if they offer you to say the head of the training academy, will you take that, but will you still do your business, or you just gonna if you take that, it's gonna be no more business.
Man, I don't know. I believe that I'll probably make a bigger difference staying within the private sector. You know, like don't get me wrong, I would love to help my country. There's nothing more that I want than to go in and help, make the country a whole lot safer. But at the same time, I don't think Liberia is ready for the mindset that I have as a person, right? The mindset that we have as people, coming from the United States and based upon the way that we live our life. And what I mean is that there's no, it's for me, it's A or B, right? Policy is policy. The rules are the rules, the law is the law, right? Liberians, we have this thing where we are very accustomed to bending the law, right? And breaking the law also too. So if you put me in a position to be a police chief or the DEA, whatever, my biggest challenge would be more so not the citizens, but it's more so the people I'm going to work with, the officers, because I believe that they're so used to breaking the law themselves. They're so used to being corrupt. When I come in and enforcing these policies and then making these changes, they may not like it, right? So, but that's what I believe that the private sector will be more so my best bet because I create my own policy, I create my own rules and regulations. I enforce those rules and regulations to my employees, right? So that they can also do the right thing and not be corrupt, right? I want them to know the law, also too, so they don't break the law or violate somebody else's right, also too. So if you make me the chief of police or the DEA, whatever, man, the citizens will be happy, but those officers that work underneath of me will hate me until they realize that, hey, man, this is how life is. We have to do the right thing, and it's a better reward down the road because people are so used to seeing what's right in front of them, right? That $5 you're collecting from that guy that's driving by, um, with no license, that should not be in the vehicle in the first place anyway, and then he drive 2 blocks down the road and then kill somebody because you took that $5 from him instead of arresting him for driving without a license. So now you're corrupt and also you're an accomplice to a murder also too. you know. So the officers will hate me, but down the road they will understand that this is bigger than just me, right? And the biggest thing also that would be a problem would be more so pay. I believe that when a man um when a man works for you, right? You say, I want you to do X, Y, and Z for me, and that job is done. You should pay that person, but you agree to pay them. So if I'm a police chief or DEA, my people have to get paid on time. Not 6 months later on, not 2 months later, not 3 months later. They have to be paid on time, just like clockwork. It have to happen because that's how you also alleviate corruption, also too, right? If I'm supposed to get paid today and you don't pay me until a month from now, I have to provide for my family, right? So now you're pretty much giving me the opportunity to go ahead and become corrupt, right? To steal some money or take some money from somebody just like I can provide for my family until that next paycheck comes. But if I know that I'm being paid on time every time, the chances of me being corrupt is very slim. And pay me a good salary so I can provide for my family, also to send my kids to school, put food on the table, you know, create a better living condition for my family also too. So you have to pay your people on time. You have to enforce the law. You have to enforce the policies, and you also have to abide by all these regulations. Also,
Facts. So as a businessman, how do you juggle all those things, right? We're working full
Mhm.
times, running the business, writing the script, doing everything in the background, and still keeping your marriage and your spiritual life strong.
Man, just one step at a time. I have a to-do list, right? Um, I go by what's most important at this moment, right? Everything else, um, comes second after this right here. As long as my family is good, right? I pay my bills, pay my mortgage, my kids have a roof over their head, I have food in the house, my wife is happy. Then I go to the business, right? Um, Drafting policies, talking to the lawyers in Liberia, talking with you, talking to other business partner in Liberia. I deal with that also too. Then I move on to the next thing. So just having a schedule, um, prioritizing my time, also what comes first, second, third, whatever. That's how I do it one day at a time.
Absolutely. So every business is said business. They said setback is guaranteed in every business, right?
hmm
So how do you handle the failure or the moment when things don't go as planned?
Man, um, nothing ever goes according to plan. So that's why it's always good to have a plan A, a plan B, plan C, D, F, whatever, right? So you have to have a backup to your backup. And also, you always have to make sure that the people that you surround yourself with also have the same mindset as you, because that will also help alleviate um the back things falling back also too. That will also alleviate you backstepping also too. So you have to be mindful of who you make your business partners in this life, right? And then Just if you fall back, just get back up and keep on moving. You know, the hardest part is getting started, right? And don't stop. Just keep on moving. Whatever that may be, one step at a time, a step and a half a step. Just keep moving forward. Keep moving forward.
Okay, okay. So because I mean because success without struggle doesn't really build character. You have to, I think, struggles is what build character. Because I think, don't you think, what you've been through as a child, and as a man, and now as
Mhm.
a husband, is what really make you who you are. And talk a little bit about how you were raised, so that really bring you, that give you some body on how you are now as a person. Does that shape your life in any way? How you grew up, the struggle you went to, how you grew up? Did it play any parts in your business mindset, your security mindset, and now your family? Because since I've been knowing you, are very big on family. That's the one thing I can ever say. You're very big on family, and you like things a certain way. You raised,
Mhm.
I mean, you like things a certain way. So, do you think the way you were raised or grew up and how you grew up played a role in your mindset and how you thinking?
I would say the way I grew up. So that's mostly coming from my struggle as a child, right? Um, Going through a hard time from Ivory Coast to getting to the United States, and being able to, provide for myself at the age of 16 in the United States, to work and be able to do everything for myself, apartment, car, everything, right? Um, I never had anybody to say, "Hey, Miguel, do things this way or that way," or "Hey, Miguel, what do you want to become in the future as you get older?" It's just more so, man. It's God, really. Um, I just knew that wrong was wrong, right was right, right at a young age. I knew that I did not want to be a drug dealer, um, a gang member. Even though I was exposed to all these things, based upon the people that you know I was around, but I never partake in it. Um, I knew that I wanted something better in life. And the biggest thing was also, for some reason, it clicked in my head that if I want to be a family man, I have to be able to provide for my family. I would need a good income. And I cannot do that if I have a criminal record, right? If I'm out here doing anything crazy. So it's been God that had blessed me, really, because there wasn't no father saying, "Hey, do this the right way, do that, what do you want to be in the future, X, Y, and Z." It was mostly just God who, I guess, spoke to me and said, "Miguel, if you stay on this path, things will be better for you in the future." And so far, so good. I'm blessed for where I am today.
That is dope. So now we're talking about that. So you got a lot on your plate, and then how you grew up, like you said, and you really had that male figure to really guide you through or everything else, as most people do have. But
Hmm.
your faith has always been steady. So what role does your relationship with God play in your everyday life, in your marriage, your job, and your business? You said a little bit about that, but can you clarify a little bit how God played that role in?
Um, God have definitely kept me faithful. That's number one, in my relationship. Um, Also number two, God have blessed me to be able financially to be able to provide for my family. That's the biggest thing. And then also God had blessed him with a wife that's a God fearing woman also too. And she's the reason why I'm actually going to church, you know, and praying and and being grateful to God. She's the main reason why, you know. So she prayed for me, she prayed for my family. I mean, she prayed for our family, and she introduced me to people who will also make a positive impact in my life also too. So that's all God, man.
So pretty much, so when you feel tired, discouraged, overwhelmed, uh, your wife and it's kind of help you reset your spiritual life? What you say?
Absolutely.
Or
Yeah.
got you. I mean, it is important. That's why you always want to have family as that. You know, they say the wife is a help me. So whatever place you are weak
Hmm.
at, we have to relinquish with our power to them to be able to help us in those areas. Because a lot of times you said it earlier about ego. Sometimes our pride is so strong that we handicap them in a way. We set on certain way this to do this, but they are there to help us in the area that we can't help ourselves, or we're not able at
Hmm.
that moment to help ourselves. Because if I'm doing all this stuff at one, I need somebody there to really, pull all together. That's why I think the person behind the camera is as important as the person acting in front of the camera, because I'm the one directing everything. I'm the one putting everything in this place, going this way. But you only see me, but you don't see the person behind. So I think the wife is there. So you don't see
Hmm.
her, you just see the man, but you don't know that the wife is actually the one that driving the man to do what he's doing. That making sure his mental status there, make sure that the house is in line, it's in order.
Hmm.
Because we as a man, we think differently. We like to solve problem, and sometimes solving problem might be cause a problem. But I feel like the wife and letting her play her role, and she tap into that as well, playing that role spiritually, help us as a man and help both of us as a family. So that's I feel that's great. That's very great because you got a good wife and very spiritual. I mean, no marriage is easy. There's no I haven't seen any marriage that's easy, but I think working together, coming together, and understanding, like you said, and having that communication, effective communication, uh, is the key here. Because, like you said knowledge is power. But if you don't apply that knowledge, what's the point? What's the power in that knowledge? If you're not going to apply, what's the power in that? So, uh,
Yeah.
so now we're gonna move to manhood, legacy, and purpose. We're gonna close with, in your own words, what does being a real man to you? What does being a real man means to you today?
I would say being a man today is being able to have power over your emotions, right? Is be able to realize when you're wrong and apologize for your mistakes or face your mistakes. Um, it's the ability to work hard, the ability to provide for your family, right? That if you have children, right, a real man will provide for his family. It don't matter if you have to go out there and clean the trash off the floor. A real man is a provider for his family. A real man take care of his wife. He protects his family, right? Um, a real man will always be there for his children, will not abandon his children. A real man will put God first. Um, I believe everybody are free to, practice their own religion or whatever it be God, Allah, wherever you believe in, right? But you just have to have some form of faith or belief, right? Um, a real man take care of his household, right? A real man set a standard for his family, for his children to follow. A real man help his children achieve their goal in life also. So in my definition today, that's what I see as a real man. A role model who is not afraid to express himself, a role model who is not afraid to express his feelings for his wife or his children, and a man who know how to keep his ego in check.
Most definitely. So, what would you say that is the true purpose of life? And how has that changed you over time?
Um, in my opinion, I'll use myself an example. I believe that my purpose in life, my true purpose in life is to is to help make a difference in other people's life. So it's true that I want to leave a legacy for my children. I want to provide for my family. I want to own businesses, but there's nothing more that I want or that bring me joy when I help somebody else out, right? When I especially somebody that's in need, whether that may be sending money to Liberia for family, for friends, there's nothing more that brings me joy when that person said, "Thank you. This was very helpful to me. Thank you. You don't know how bad I really needed this." You know, that right there make a big difference for me. And I really want to go back home and be able to manifest that on a bigger scale, right? I want to help build a whole community and make a big difference in people's life. And if I can touch the whole nation, that's a blessing also too. But I want people to know that, hey, this man was a good man. He helped people in need. He helped make a difference in people's life. That's what I want to remember. I want to be remembered for.
Most definitely, most definitely. So I think that was Denzel Washington that once says that the best gratitude you can ever have in life is giving something to somebody and seeing that smile on their face.
Yeah.
And I feel that's so. Even though that is true, and we like that, but how do you handle some people that would like to take advantage of that?
People will always take advantage of you, no matter what, right? But at the same time too, as a person, you need to be able to check that, right? It's a fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me, right? So if you give to somebody and you notice that that person is more so of a taker, right? Or take, or they want to do is just take and take advantage of you. You as a person, as the giver, it's your responsibility to be able to dial back or completely put a stop to it, right? So
Right.
you have to be able to pick up on those things because if not, you will end up becoming the person that's very that give and then turn around and complain about that. And I hate people that does that, right? So learn to recognize when you're being taken advantage of and dial back or completely stop dealing with with that individual. But that shouldn't deter you from helping other people in life.
I got you. So before we wrap up, it was a pleasure having you on. So we wrap. What would you like to tell the Liberian people, whoever watch, whoever listen,
Hmm.
anything in your heart that you would like to express yourself as a person, uh, advise on business, advise on how you see the country, what you think about the government right now, and did you always support this government right now, or did your mind change? And how do you feel about that? About JNB?
Let's start with the government, right? Man, like I said earlier, man, I despise politicians. I don't like them at all, right? Um, there's a way that you can be elected by the people and still make a difference without being a politician, right? There's other way to make a difference in Liberia. But from what I would say is that just my short visit to Liberia a year ago, right? The way in which that things was handled. For example, I would say the airport. Before I went to Liberia, I watched a bunch of videos where people were saying, "Oh, people was going through this, somebody went through my suitcase, they stole this and stole that, X, Y, and Z." When I went to Liberia, Joseph Boakai was in office, right? I took 3 suitcases to Liberia, and not a single thing was missing from that suitcase. That was a good thing, right? Of course, when I got there, you had people still asking for money, but the little bit of time I spent in Liberia, I could tell that things was going in the right direction, right? And so far, what I see right now, um, on Facebook, what I hear on the news, it seems like Joseph Boycott is doing a pretty good job in Liberia right now. My biggest thing that I pray that God give him long life so that he will be able to continuously implement these new laws, policies, whatever that may be, you know, continue to improve on Liberia development. right? So I have nothing bad to say about, about this current president, this current government that we have in place right now. Um, and as a matter of fact, I thank God that we have him, and I hope that he's alive for the next 20 years to come, right? Because I think he's needed. He's definitely needed. I definitely feel the difference, and I see it. And people call me to tell me about it. Things are getting a little bit better in Liberia, and that's a good thing. The Liberian people. Let's start with those that's here first, right, in America. Um, on social media, right? I'm tired seeing just my people on Facebook or Instagram, just the fight, the argument, the going back and forth, the disrespect. You got this other guy, I forgot his name, whatever his name is, that get on internet and just disrespect everybody from the president to women, X, Y, and Z, right? I'm tired of saying that. Liberians, we need to do a better job, right? We need to come together, especially in America. We need to have a better mindset to go back home and help our people, right? We have seen better, so we should know better, right? We should go to Liberia and help build that country. Um, Try to go into a decent career field. Stop, get away from, the factory jobs, go into like engineering, construction, and go into law enforcement, military, nurses, nursing, doctors, all that good stuff, right? And let's go back to Liberia and help build that country. They need us, and we also need the people in Liberia. And then to the people in Liberia also too, when we come home, embrace us, right? We're not coming home to take advantage of you. We're coming to help develop the country. We're coming to provide jobs to help you and your family also, right? So when we come, your number one goal should not be to take and take and take away from us, right? Help us help you in Liberia. Let's work together, right? And if you leave from here and go to Liberia, please do not build these big mansions with this 20-foot walls and disregard everything outside that wall, right? We need to help change the community that we live in also too, right? We need to work together. Just because you leave from here and go to Liberia, that does not place you above everybody else in Liberia. It don't make you special. One of the differences is that you had an opportunity to come to the United States and you're here and you're back home to live a better life, right? So let's work together. We need to work together in Liberia. We need to own more businesses in Liberia. We need to own more construction businesses, hardware.
Businesses in Liberia. We need to own more.
We need to own our own cement factory, rock factories. Um, we need to go into agriculture. There's so many things that we need to do in that country, right? If we don't take control over the economy, Liberia will be controlled by foreigners, and we do not want that, right? I have nothing against foreigners. I encourage them to come to the country and build, but we, as a nation, as the citizen of Liberia, we also need to own businesses in Liberia also too, and we need to obey the law. Yes, that's what I have to say about that.
Yeah, I do think so. A lot of us. So, what would you say? Before we went back Liberia, I went
Mhm.
with you, and I didn't go. That was my first time going back since 20 plus years. or so, and it was a little different. You know, some places they
Hmm.
didn't change at all. Some places they, because I mean, I was young, I didn't been many places, but
Hmm.
what would you say about, you know, before we left, we had things that, oh, you can't trust nobody in Liberia, everybody want himself. And you, I mean, you had experienced that as well. I've
Hmm.
had, I had my mom, you get people to buy you land and they eat the money for themselves or they
Hmm.
show you somebody else's land. Uh, how was that? Did you, when you got there, is there anybody now you feel like it's different than what you used to hear, or is it the same, or is it,
So you're referring to as far as people trying to take away, or people trying to
yeah,
how
like
can I,
trusting somebody to buy your land, trusting somebody to buy your stuff while you're here instead of
man.
like like before you would buy land
Hmm.
and then the person didn't do the land the right way or they ate the money
Hmm.
and then they lied
Hmm.
said they did this. So now that you was there and you seen how it is and
Hmm.
why, can you really trust anybody in Labrador? Because I feel that's one of the reasons why Labrador 2 is not ready to develop it because people want to stay here and work, right? And send the money back to Phil. I trust you. I'm gonna go ahead
Hmm.
and get the work done, the money, and send it back home so you can help me build. You know, but I don't understand why some people don't understand that if I'm giving you this project to do, you're gonna benefit from it,
Hmm.
right? Because hey, I let you do this. I'm building this right. I'm not there. I'm here. And when this go up, you're gonna benefit from it. You're gonna be that person. So do you trust anybody? I mean, do you have some kind of trust in people in life right now that can win a body lands than you had before you went back?
Um, trust is a very I don't trust. It's a few people that I trust in life. A very few people that I trust, right? You will be one of them, but very few people that I trust in life. Um, I always have the thing in my mind that people will always steal from you, especially if they live in Liberia. Even the pastor, right? That's saying God, God, God. Matter of fact, he might be the number one person to steal from you. But I do believe that you have to trust people to a certain extent, right?
Facts.
To be able to get some work done. But but no, there's nobody that I actually 100% trust to say, hey, this person will get this done for me, no question asked, without trying to steal $1 from me, right?
Right.
So, but I just have to do my best to minimize the loss, right? So it's gonna happen. People will steal from you no matter what. So I mean, over time, you meet people, right, and you slowly build relationship with those people, and then hopefully it will get to the point where you can fully trust that person. But I believe I'm at a stage right now where I'm still building that relationship with that person, right? It's a step. So I pray that it will come to the point where I'm able to fully trust that individual to say, hey, here you go $1,000, go do X, Y, and Z with this, right? So it's a work in progress.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, trust for me too is like I say is a big thing. And I have to have some kind of trust in you to even do business with you or
Hmm.
deal with you, pretty much. But like I would tell everybody, I don't trust nobody. Sometimes I don't trust myself, but I don't trust nobody. I trust you to be who you say you are, who you show me
Hmm.
you are. That's why I trust. But me saying I trust you, oh, you're gonna know because people are gonna disappoint you. And
That's
sometimes
true.
our expectation of people is what hurt us instead of the person itself. Because sometimes will put some kind of expectation on the person that they can't handle because we don't know them like that. You don't know anybody 100%. But so
Hmm.
whoever that person shows you they are, you have to believe it from the start. They say, oh, they showed me this side right here, but they can change. So I'm gonna go this way now. So I trust each person to see, hey, this how they show me they are. They show me the trust word. They show me that words that bond. So I'm gonna take it for face value. But I'm not gonna put too much expectation into that person before
Hmm.
I get disappointed. Because if I do that and you don't do what I expect you to do, now I'm disappointed. Now my mind towards you turning. Now I'm like I'm pushing back on how to deal with you, what to do with you. So I think our expectation we put on people sometimes is what hurt us in our physical relationship, in business, in anything that we do, the expectation we put on people at times is what hurt us instead of the person actually hurting us. So, but that's a great thing. So if you have anything to say, if you have any question for the president, what would you ask him?
If I had a question for the president of Liberia, what would I ask him? I would say, what plans do you have, or what path are you creating to be able to bring Liberians from the diaspora into Liberia, right? Those we have special skills, doctors, those who have good computer skills in engineering, AI, robotics. What's your plan to bring those people into Liberia, right? Or those who also want to come to Liberia and invest in that country. What do you have any kind of business funding for those people where you're able to fund what that might be like a loan or just as a grant, right? If they can provide documentation or provide a business plan, provide that their idea to you on paper and it seems like it's legit and this can work, right? What do you have in plan to help support those people, right? Especially if those people have the ability to, to shape the country, right? And make it much safer or to provide jobs. What do you have in place to help those people out? So using us for an example, man, I believe I'm more useful in Liberia than I am here, right? My skills is like I said earlier, I'm a firearm instructor, defensive tactic instructor. T for T, I instruct other people how to defend themselves, how to teach classes. Um, I have a SWAT certification also too. Um, I create business plan, I create lesson plan for a whole police academy. You know, I'm able to implement things when it comes to like border control, security, drugs enforcement, investigation, cybersecurity. So almost every sector involving public safety, I can assist. And that's why I believe my skills will be more important in Liberia than it is in the United States. So for people like us, what do you have in place to help bring us back home, especially those that want to come back home to Liberia, right? To help. Um, so it's either you can provide an avenue for us to come home, or else those people will also take their skills to another country, you know, and or they might just stay in America, right? So, but people like us is definitely we can definitely make a big difference in Liberia. So that's why we're going into the security sector, you know, because for me, safety is one of the biggest things, especially wanting to come to Liberia. I need to be able to make sure that my family are always safe. Nowhere is perfect, that's true, but I need to be able to minimize the risk of being mugged by somebody, killed, robbed, right? So, and that's why we're going into security, to help bring our experience from here into Liberia and train people and help change their mindset.
Most definitely. So before we close, do you have anything else to tell the people?
Um, let's put God first, you know. Let's put God first. Let's let's come together as a people to build Liberia, right? Let's work with the president. Let's work with the government, and also tribalism that needs to stop. You are a Liberian first before everything else. Can you still hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I can see you, but I
Okay.
can hear you.
Okay. I'm not sure what happened over here, but tribalism needs to stop, right? You are a Liberian first before everything else. So we need to come together and work. A man should not get a job in the government because he's from the same tribe as you. It should be based upon his skills, his education, his knowledge, his experience, and what can he do to help shape the country, right? So that's what it should be about. Tribalism is good. Like I'm all for you being from a different tribe. That's what makes us unique, right? Our differences, right? Our culture, our music, our background. That's what makes Liberia very unique. But at the same time, that should not be a criteria to get a job in the government.
Okay. So thank you once again for joining today. I appreciate it. So before we leave, I want to leave for a Bible verse. It's something that everything we talk about today. Galatians 3:23 says, "Whatever you do, work at it with all your heart, as working for the Lord, not for man." So whatever we do, we're not working for a man, working for God, we're doing God's work. So that's how we live. Whether you are on the job, running a business, or serving your family, do it as a worship. So, gonna leave with a little prayer. Heavenly Father, we thank you for this powerful conversation. Thank you for using my brother's stories to remind us that balance is possible through faith. Bless every man and woman listening. Give them peace, direction, and purpose. Strengthen marriage, inspire entrepreneurship, and help those struggling to find meanings. Teach us to work hard, to love deeper, and to trust you completely. In Christ Jesus' name, we love and Savior pray.
Amen.
So, so, uh, So thank you once again for joining. Like I said, family, if this conversation speaks to you, drop a comment below, share what part hit home the most, and don't forget, check out the other episode of the Real Peace Show where we dive deeper into fitness and real life growth. Remember, stay grounded, stay growing, and always keep God first. Until next time, peace, blessing, and love. Thank you, man. I appreciate it, and I'll talk to you later.
All right. See you.